Rồi, tiếp theo chúng ta sẽ đến với phiên là Interoperability Cross-chain. Vì sao chúng ta sẽ phải chú ý về phiên này? Bởi vì tương lai Web 3 là liên kết đa chuỗi. Phiên này sẽ mở ra tầm nhìn về một cấu trúc kết nối toàn cầu. Và cái phiên này sẽ có là nhiều điều lưu ý và chúng ta phải đáng theo dõi á. Xin trân trọng giới thiệu các diễn giả Rachit Agarwal, Lam Son, Loveneesh Dhir và người điều phối Pham Dat. Yeah. Thank you to speaker and moderator of previous panel. Next, we have the panel Interoperability and Cross-chain. The future of Web3 is multi-chain connectivity. This session opens the vision for a global connected structure. Please welcome panelists Rachit Agarwal, Lam Son, Loveneesh Dhir, and moderator Pham Dat.
Okay, so hi everyone, nice to meet everyone here. So today we will have a great discussion, great panel talk with three experts to talk about blockchain and how we can build with blockchain, the role of blockchain in the ecosystem layer. So first one, I think we can make great introduction about on the speaker here. So first, I'm Nim, I'm Deborah of Sushi Hub. So I've already been in the blockchain industry for 5 years. So hopefully today I can have more knowledge about blockchain with other speaker here. So I think you can share about what are you doing and who are you? What is your organization to show with other participants here? What are you doing in blockchain and with blockchain also?
So hi everyone, Loveneesh this side. I lead the ecosystem at Union. So we at Union are building a zero knowledge based interop layer for Web3. Basically, we connect different blockchains together. So if you are building any dApp and want to go multi-chain, you can just leverage our SDKs and you can go multi-chain in a minute.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. My name is Lam Son. Thank you for the opportunity for me to be part of this panel. And I currently am an academic coordinator of bachelor program computer science at the Vietnamese German University, which is located 50 kilometers from here. And at the same time, I'm a lecturer in software engineering. So I do research and teachings with topics related to blockchain, and the interoperability of blockchain is, of course, one of the topics that I am after. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey everyone, I'm Rachit. I lead global expansion at the Wormhole Foundation. Wormhole is essentially an interoperability platform. You know, we work a lot with major institutions and DeFi protocols. You know, we work with Securitize, BlackRock, Apollo, VanEck on the institutional side, and on the DeFi side, you know, we work with Uniswap, Maker, well, Sky Protocol now, and a lot more names. Yeah, very excited to be here.
Okay, thank you so much for great introduction. So I think to make the beginning of this topic, I think I will ask personally idea from your side. So can you explain from your side about what is the blockchain and why it is really essential in the blockchain ecosystem, especially in ecosystem Ethereum?
Okay, so for me, basically interop or cross-chain, it means that every user should be able to like use all the dApps without thinking about what chain they are connected to. The user should get a seamless experience, and that's like we are on the way to that. People are like now building chain abstracted wallets, chain abstracted dApps, but this is just the beginning. We have a way more to go.
Yeah, for me, the interoperability of blockchain would add more dimension of, how we go with decentralized computing. So by nature, yes, all the blockchain and distributed ledger technology, they follow decentralized computing, but we could go even further. So this is the way I look at it.
I think the simplest analogy that you can give to anyone, and this is like if you're just starting off in crypto, let's say there are like 100 chains. Interoperability basically means you can use any chain, you can move assets from one chain to another. Dapps and developers can build on one chain and expand to another. It broadens opportunities, essentially. Think of it like airplanes, railroads, telephone. It's like connectivity. It's the frontier of connectivity in crypto.
So for summarize, blockchain should be can be understand at the at the solution to read from chain A to chain B, right? So let's say with the developer base step, right? So Wormhole and Unicorn, right? So how can your SDK support for developer to build a blockchain solution faster and especially with the user experience that Ethereum want to focus bring in the upcoming roadmap? So can you say more detail about how can the SDK support?
For sure. So basically, if you want to build a dApp and go cross chain with even Wormhole or with Union, like the processes are like quite similar. So you just have to like leverage our SDK. So for Union, like I guess the key difference between Union and Wormhole is Union is using zero knowledge based finality, and Wormhole I guess is using MPC or block confirmations as finality, right? So what you need to do is like for the case of Union, if you want to go cross chain, if you are building this on chain, you can just do it by our smart contract call. So we have our light clients on all the chains that we connect to. You can just call that particular smart contract and you can go multi-chain. And if you want to leverage this like off-chain, you can use our TypeScript SDK, which is quite simple.
I think it should be
Yeah,
Wormhole.
okay. The question is, how do we help people go multi-chain? Okay.
Yeah.
So there are two sides to it. I think, Loveneesh appropriately described the developer side. The Wormhole stack, since we, like a bit of history on Wormhole, we were the first bridge from Solana to Ethereum. So from then, like 4 or 5 years ago to now, our stack has obviously evolved quite a bit. So we do have the bridge side, it's called Wormhole Portal. We have an SDK called Connect. You can integrate that into it. We have a sort of framework called NTT, native token transfer. If you have a token and you want to go multi-chain, you can do all of that stuff. There are like 3, 4 other use cases as well, but I think for like an early developer who's building at ETH Vietnam, these two are probably the most important. And then you should definitely understand messaging. And I can go into more detail about that, how that works, but essentially think about it as like communication between your protocol instances on different blockchains. They need to sync together. Messaging enables that synchronous behavior, essentially. Yeah.
Just so that's mean like focus on bringing something the simple integration between chain A to chain B for the application, right? So let's say for the researcher side, so do you think like in the first time of any layer one or any blockchain, do they need to focus on building their own ecosystem, like building the native ecosystem on of the app already need to be deployed in this chain only? Or do you think it needs to have like a blockchain solution from the beginning when building layer one?
So do you mean from like the ecosystem perspective,
I
or
think all of you guys can give
as a
idea.
builder, how do you
Yeah.
choose what chain and multi-chain? That's the question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. The way that I would think about it is find an ecosystem that really supports you. Find founders that are willing to back what you're building on their ecosystem. Find an ecosystem that has a community that will become your first users. Ideally, you'd also want to find an ecosystem that has hype so that everyone's sort of looking into the ecosystem a lot more. As a developer, the first thing you should do is try to find PMF for whatever you're building, right? So if you're building a dApp today, until you hit PMF, don't think about going multi-chain at all. If you look at all the previous winners or best case studies like Aave, Uniswap, all these different guys, they first started off with Ethereum. I guess, well, back in the day, there was only Ethereum. So started with one and then they expanded when they needed to expand, right? On the other side, if you are an institutional player, if you're like a big bank or a fintech and you want to launch a stablecoin, or you're like a native stablecoin, in that instance, we firmly believe that you need to have a multi-chain strategy day one. It is very important to play the DeFi game. It is very important to be accessible to everyone. For a stablecoin, PMF means more TVL, and you need to access it wherever you can, and you need to build flywheels for that to be possible.
So how about Mr. Sun? Can you give the idea about should we bring the blockchain solution from the beginning when building the D app, or should we build the native chain first and then make the rod chain later?
Yeah, let me give you a more research-oriented perspective here. So one of the topics which related to how business process management is So business process is any process that happening in our real life. That could be ordering, making online order or supply chains processes. So the idea he is to automate all the activities within the process. So let's look at a process simply as a series of activity, and or the process participant could collaborate. They don't necessarily have to trust each other. So the point here is how we could keep track of every single activity in a process. So we get a blockchain in order to create a transaction. Whenever we execute, let's say whatever execute an activity, we create a transaction within the blockchain network. So that could be multiple data or aspect that we need to capture, like a control flow or data or additional data associated with an activity. So I think with regard to the app, let's go with the on-chain design first, and then we could think about how we go with the smart contract, etc.
Got it. So how do you think about it?
So, in my opinion, like Rachit described it very well. If you want like more TVL on your chain and you are launching a stable coin, you should go for a multi-chain first design. But the other way around is like find a chain that supports you well, find a chain that aligns with your long-term vision, find a chain whose ecosystem is highly supportive. So, in that way, like you should go first with that chain and you can expand with other chains once you are done with your goals, initial goals.
So that's all right. So now we have the decision. We know how to make the rod chain solution run which type of project, right? So back to the SDK for developer, when they try to use your SDK to build rod chain solution. So do you try to make your SDK to be the template and the standard SDK standard for all the developer to follow, or you just want to make this SDK for this one and this SDK for the other chain, or you want to make this standardized?
So to address this, Ethereum has already, like the Ethereum Foundation started the open intents framework, and ERC 7683 is the standard for like open intents. So basically, like if you want to use intents across any EVM based chain, you can go to public goods open intents framework and leverage it out. So that was the starting of the interop framework standardization, I guess. And I guess there is pretty much need to bring in like there are multiple interoperability protocols and every protocol is different in design. So if there are like basic design standardization so that like any dApp developer can use any protocol and they can switch whenever they want. So it would be great if we can go through a standard template.
So that's your plan for your SDK, right? So for let's say for Wormhole, how about your plan?
I didn't get the question entirely. Is the question, should there be a common standard for interoperability?
Yeah, it should be like, do you have a plan to build a standard for on a developer to use your SDK, or you can use for any kind of chain?
Got it. I think this is a very difficult question to answer, like when you think about it theoretically, right? I think there have been a lot of instances where projects have just launched a standard, and like, you know, in reality, they're just frameworks. Our internal team philosophy, and this is something that Nikhil, our head of product, talks about a lot, like we're not looking to build standards, we want to build frameworks that our users or integrators want to use, right? For additional context, I used to work at Connect back in the day, and they did have something very similar to this where, you know, the asset issuer had the opportunity to select the bridges that they wanted to route through, or they had more additional control over, you know, how much tokens you can issue, for instance. And that was an approach, like that was like Arjun's egalitarian approach towards building a standard. The problem I think that we faced there, and you know, he will have more insight than I do on this matter, but the problem we had there was, why would competitors want to come together for a standard built by a competitor, right? Like if you want to push for a standard, I think the Ethereum Foundation is probably the only player that is capable to do and bring everyone together, or the Solana Foundation if they want to. So that's how I think about it. Like we're not here to build standards, we're here to build frameworks. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe in a similar approach. Like they did the open intents framework. Like they can start. I guess I got the question a bit different.
I got it. So now, so we think about the rod chain, we think about SDK, we think about standard, right? From Ethereum, but it's, you know, like currently more of the more of application from rod chain is still in DeFi sector, right? So from researcher side, do you think we will have more application, more use case for rod chain? So can you help me to answer, Mr. Sun?
Yeah, there are a couple of use cases when it comes to interoperability blockchains. So, of course, people talk about decentralized finance. Is, you know, the topic that most people are talking about it. But there are other use cases like in medical environment. So let me talk about again medical processes in which multiple organization might get involved, be insurance company and one or choose hospital together with the pharmacist or dealer pharmacist provider. So the thing is here, yeah, the data, medical data by nature could be spread over multiple sources. Yeah, so we could think of it like one of the hospital could capture the core medical record of one patient, but additionally we could receive, I don't know, note or operation history coming from another clinic. And also insurance provider, they could have some data which, you know, that not captured by the organization. So this is, I would say, this is good use cases, very promising use cases of interoperability of blockchain.
I think it's so, right? So back to the use case, the new use case you already mentioned, right? You think about the data, you think about blockchain. So maybe I will say about the hot topic right now is AI, right? So do you think like AI and blockchain solution can be combined and generate a new solution for your guy and for your SDK? And can you suggest some, you know, say some use case you want to build related to blockchain and AI? Yeah, you can try first.
I think the way that we interact on chain is going to change with AI agents. I don't know if that will be in the interface we have right now. I actually don't think people think that AI is smart enough to manage their money. I always believe that people will think that they're more smarter than AI with like risk management, and they will never just give money to AI, which is why you know, even I haven't invested into any of these like AI liquid funds or whatever. With that said, the interop protocol or the protocols or the bridges that seamlessly enable AI agents to interact on chain are the ones that are going to win in the next 10 years, because that will drive majority of the volume. I don't think it'll be like AI liquid fund structure, it would be something completely different. Like, okay, for example, I'll give you an example. When doing a Pendle transaction is like 14 transactions into one transaction, I don't understand what those transactions are, right? Very honestly. I believe there's an instance where AI can then analyze that Pendle transaction, give you more recommendations, and that AI will then prompt you to, okay, hopefully use Wormhole and do this, right? Like, that's how I think AI will sort of evolve. And then as people start trusting that AI, they will start trusting that it can actually execute themselves. Then people have been talking about like ChatGPT, SEO. I think that's where we'll see a lot of shift towards, and something the teams that I've spoken to are focusing on as well.
So in my opinion, like another use case can be like building a bridge which leverages like a couple of protocols for interop needs and bridging, and AI can suggest like using this bridge you'll get the best rate for doing your swaps, right? But there are like pros and cons to this, because using like closed source AI models for doing like financial things, that is like highly, I'll say it's not really secure. And if we go to the institutional side, like they want to like be like they don't want to use AI for now. Like they want things to be secure. If it's a open sourced AI model, then I think people will get more confidence leveraging those.
I still think if AI was able to make money, that would be a private thing. Like, if I built an algorithm that I can make money off, like, why would I open it up? I
Cannot
don't
be
know.
public,
That's just
right?
what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
But
Cannot be
yeah,
public.
Ms. Lam?
Yeah, let me give a theoretical point of view here. So, if the number of transaction, I mean, cross-chain transaction getting higher, and of course, it generate a lot of data. So, the immutability and the transaction-based nature of blockchain, meaning that whenever we execute a process, it would leave a trail, kind of creating a history. So given that the number of transactions on the right, and we could think of leveraging AI, to analyze something abnormal, for example, and AI could suggest the routing or the best way for to reach from one blockchain network to another, because it could go to a series or to a multiple player, to reach the destination. So that could be on the good side. The downside might be because uh, we have to depend on whatever algorithm behind AI. Okay, so it's blockchain, meaning that transparency, immutability, but it could introduce AI and algorithm here to suggest something or to navigate to the blockchain network. Then we have to depend on the logic. So that could be, potentially the concern that we have. Yeah.
Yeah, so really exciting about the opinion about AI and blockchain solution. So I think for the last question for today, I think should be the something about mass adoption between blockchain solution. So how do you think about, and actually can you predict about what kind of core feature for blockchain solution? Because currently blockchain solutions have many solutions, right? Have many features in blockchain. It can be relay or not. It can be sequence or not, right? So can you predict about which kind of blockchain solution can be used to be the mainstream to be make mass adoption for blockchain? And you can talk also about the use case you think it can be adapted with blockchain.
Yeah. So if I think like if I get the question correct, you want to ask like how what use case will be
You can
the
predict about the future of blockchain,
yeah.
new feature or new
Yeah,
use
so
case.
I guess like mass adoption can be brought by like interoperability only. In the next 5 years, the users will not care about like what chain they are using. They'll like receive funds on chain A and they'll send funds to someone on chain B, and they'll just see like the dollar value of that. They'll not know like okay, it was like USDT on ETH or it was USDT on Tron. For them it's just USDT, and the gas and everything will be optimized by the chain abstraction and chain orchestration protocols. So everything will be working under the hood, and this way, like each and every one of us, even like a taxi driver or a confectionery shop owner, will be using like blockchain payments, right? Even like your grandmom, my grandmom can send funds across, because like there is not a headache. Oh, I have like these funds on Tron, but I don't have like Tron to pay the gas.
Yeah, so easy to make transfer.
Yeah, so that's how like the consumer adoption will come.
Okay. So how do you-
Um, hmm. This is a really great question because I can take this anywhere. I can probably talk about this for an hour because I spent a lot of time thinking about, when mass adoption. The first chain of thought that I have is DeFi is already at a scale of mass adoption because if you think about crypto, it's majoritarily DeFi. And if you think about DeFi summer last time, it was essentially people who had assets like ETH or different assets that they want to borrow, lend on Aave, for instance, or swap using Uniswap, for instance, right? Like there was a use case for that because people had assets that they wanted to do stuff with after like the Ethereum ICO. I would say Ethereum, like people holding ETH are like the main first users for these protocols, right? Now, if you analyze that chain of thought and be like, okay, back in the day, if Ethereum holders are using Aave and they're looping this stuff or they're using Uniswap, for instance, and you want to think about the future, it sort of comes back to the vehicle of opportunities on chain that attract people to come on chain, right? Right now, if I wanted my dad to do something on the blockchain, like he doesn't own ETH, right? Like his wealth is not in ETH. Like, I may or may not have ETH and I may or may not be a crypto user, right? But in a future, with the X stock stuff that Kraken's doing and all these different like, the Robinhood stuff that's happening, the vehicle of opportunity for those things to come on chain is immense. When you come to a point where my dad's mutual funds in India can be brought on chain and he can, borrow, lend on Aave and, buy some US treasuries, I think that's where we'll hit, but that will probably take like another 10 years. For context, like he can still take a borrowed position against his mutual funds, but it's like 25% LTV and you have to pay back in 6 months, which is crazy if you think about it, right? So the future of mass adoption is when the future of opportunities come on chain and then you increase the addressable market incrementally. To the second point, I think in the current environment of how blockchains are structured, the incentive structure for a ecosystem to be like, we want to be chain abstracted is not there. You know, and if you're building on top of that ecosystem, like if you're building on Base, like the Base team will want everyone to know that you're built on Base. They will never support a chain abstracted future. So in my opinion, like the interoperability and the chain abstracted vision that we have right now, like I think we're already there. The future from here is, okay, how do you align incentives between all these different ecosystems to promote this kind of infrastructure, right? So yeah, I mean, on the future of DeFi and interoperability, that's how I would think about it and conceptualize it.
Yeah, the big visualization. I think how about your side, room researcher? Can you answer for researcher side?
Yeah, so I one of the observation I make, and there's something that I keep telling to the student when to develop a decentralized the app, and where you have to deal with you have to come up with design for the on-chain park and the off-chain park, right? So something that the fact is the truth is majority of the logic and data is now on the off-chain park, unfortunately. And with the cross-chain and interoperability of blockchain networks, so we hope that more and more data and more logic could be captured on-chain. So, so one of the estimate is going that about 90% or 85% of the whatever program, decentralized program you develop still stay in the option part, which is not a good number at all. So this with blockchain and multiple chains, this is something that I hope in the future we have changed the landscape significantly.
Yeah, that's so so big mass adoption when everything be on chain and no matter which chain you are, so you can use any data on chain easily. So yeah, thank for so much for great discussion and great sharing from all of you guys. So maybe we can wrap up the panel here and take the picture. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you again. I'm very happy to be part.
Thank you.
Khép lại chương trình ngày thứ nhất tại Mainstay, ETH Việt Nam xin cảm ơn sâu sắc đến các diễn giả, các điều phối viên và toàn thể quý vị khán thính giả. ETH Việt Nam 2025 đang khẳng định vai trò Việt Nam trong hành trình phát triển Web3 toàn cầu. Kính chúc quý vị có thời gian nghỉ ngơi và suy ngẫm thật tốt. Hẹn gặp lại vào ngày mai, một ngày tràn đầy kết nối, sáng tạo và đổi mới. As we conclude day one at the main stage, we extend our heartfelt thanks to our outstanding speakers, decided moderator, and all our valued attendees. ETH Vietnam 2025 at framing Vietnam roles in the global journey of Web3 development. We wish you a restful evening and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow for another day full connection, creating, and innovation.